What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Get Back. I'm Daniel, and this is the reaction analysis of the WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that just happened last night. Let's get into it. So we're gonna start off from the start of the card, which was the Women's Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber. Um, so you had Tiffany Stratton and Kiana Jordan starting off the match. Really, or Kiana James starting off the match. Kiana Jordan just in my head. Kiana James starting off the match. Interesting pacing to this. You had Asuka come in, and then you had Alexa Bliss, then you had Rhea Ripley, and then you had Raquel Rodriguez. Asuka eliminated Alexa. I'm probably getting some of this wrong. Asuka eliminated Alexa. Raquel eliminated both James and Asuka, and then Rhea eliminated Raquel, and then Rhea eliminated Tiffany Stratton. Okay, so that all happened in that sequence. Really fun chamber match. I think it was just everyone was kind of hitting their spots. They did what they needed to do. I thought Rhea Ripley was great. I thought Raquel, they gave her a lot of stuff to do, and she nailed all of it. She looked really good, so see maybe she'll get a push sooner rather than later. Tiffany took a big nasty bump at the end. I just felt like it was a lot of we were waiting for the end kind of thing. I thought it was a pretty standard chamber. There wasn't a lot of surprises. Yeah, I mean, I other than Raquel's double pin to eliminate both Asuka and Kiana James, I don't really think it was that memorable of a chamber in that regard. Rhea winning, I think, made a lot of sense. I got that pick right. I think that ever since she dropped the tag team belts, it made sense for her to go on to WrestleMania and face Jade Cargill. I think that was always going to be the plan. You cannot have WrestleMania without Rhea Ripley. She needs to be there, and she had nothing to do. So you book her on WrestleMania for a title, a world title. So that made sense. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Tiffany Stratton, because she's just kind of left out now. So, and they didn't really set anything up with her during this match with any of the other women. So we'll see what her path's gonna be. She can take a step back. I mean, it's not like she just lost the title and just came back. So she has some time to kind of like maybe be in the background for a little bit. But we'll see if anything happens there. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte might go for the tag belts. That's my assumption there. Asuka might go for the tag belts. That's my assumption there. Raquel is interesting. We'll see what happens there. Maybe she'll get involved with Liv. But I think just overall, and then I thought James was good. Obviously, she has some workaround. I thought she did some really cool stuff. Her going through both of the chamber doors was crazy. She took a nasty bump there, but she got through it. But I thought overall she did a pretty good job. Nothing to really stand home about, but you know, you got to build young talent like this and expose them this way. I think she checked all the boxes. But yeah, I think overall it was a fun chamber. The winner made sense. I think everything so far made sense during this match. Nothing too crazy to write home about though. So solid like B. It was fine for what it was. They made a bunch of it did what it needed to do. You got the right person going to WrestleMania, and we'll see where that path leads when we get there. Then we had the Women's IC title, which was Becky Lynch with AJ Lee, and AJ Lee's, hometown, her adopted hometown, whatever you want to call it. This was a fun match. Actually, I had a lot of fun with this match. I thought AJ Lee looked great in her first singles match in like years. She's been in tag matches. She was in the War Games, but this is like her first like singles match in a long time. I thought she looked great. I thought she moved great. She still got that athletic ability to her. She didn't really lose that much of a step. It seems like her and Becky worked really well. And yeah, I picked her to win. She won. I thought that she needed the win. I think it made sense for their feud and where they were going. I think there's a rematch happening at Mania for the belt again, so that makes sense. So the storyline kind of continues-ish, which a lot of people aren't happy about, but I think the way this match ended with the referee getting involved and all that going around, I think there's a path for Becky to re-challenge her for the IC title, so that makes sense. But yeah, no, I think her kicking out after what was going to be a false finish when Becky nailed her with the chair and the referee wasn't looking, that was really cool. And yeah, I think overall they showed really good chemistry. They worked really well together. Again, I think AJ Lee looked great this match. So it was really fun, really cool to see. I think it should be we'll see what the I feel like for WrestleMania they're gonna have a stipulation match where it's gonna be like maybe no DQ or whatever. So we'll see what happens there. But I think a rematch between the two should be phenomenal. They proved they could work together really well. And again, I think the match made sense and everything that flowed with it. And it was a pretty fun, kind of mid-card match, everything considered. So I wouldn't have no expectations for this match, and I was pleasantly surprised and pleased. Yeah, so shout out to Becky Lynch and AJ Lee because they did a great job together. They worked really well together. I think AJ Lee winning made sense, made Chicago crowd happy. And overall, it was just a fun kind of moment for these two. And then we had CM Punk versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. Punk came out to the old Chicago Bulls music, which was fine. It was what it was. Entrance was cool, whatever it was. Ended up being Punk and Balor having a really long match, longer than I thought it was going to be. They both fought really well. Balor tried to call JD and Dom to come out. They didn't. And then CM Punk would. I thought the ending was kind of lackluster. It kind of like just ended with CM Punk hitting a GTS, and that was kind of it. It wasn't like any like crazy like roll up or like counter to a finisher or stuff like that. CM Punk just hit a GTS and everything was over. But CM Punk winning made sense. There was no way he was gonna lose in Chicago. There was just no way. I could have told you that with confidence, and I did. But yeah, the match overall, they have great chemistry together. They both work really well together. Punk's great. Finn's great. I hope this kind of moves Finn out of like that kind of jobber mid-card role into a bigger title scene pitcher, because I think that's what he deserves and what he's earned. He's a phenomenal wrestler. I think he's been with the Judgment Day for a long enough time where he could kind of move on from that, maybe fight Dom for the title at Mania. I'm hoping that's the case. I think you kind of see the Finn face turn happening now when he went to shake Punk's hand and didn't do anything dirty behind his back. Very, very good guy move right there. So I feel like this is kind of like Finn's like last kind of involvement of being a heel and kind of turning towards the face, maybe going after Dom and the IC title and breaking away from Judgment Day. I would love that for him. I want him to kind of be out of that picture and more into like a higher mid-card into title picture role scene guy. That's what he is. That's what he should be. I think it's how Judgment Day just is kind of over. We've ramped it for long enough. He's won titles with it. He's done a good job with it. But I think that's kind of getting stale now. It's like him moving on to the title picture would be better for him. And him giving him a match at Mania against Dom would make a lot of sense. And get Dom to defend the belt. Because that brother hasn't defended the belt in a minute. So, and Dom could focus on Triple A and whatever and work over there. That's fine. But I think it's time for Finn to kind of move on and into a bigger kind of role. But Punk winning makes sense. Punk and Roman WrestleMania is old. You're not changing that now. They'll be fine. They'll move on. Punk and Roman probably going to be going back and forth the next couple of weeks. And then we had the reveal what was in the box. The infamous box. This box has been going between Raw and SmackDown, whatever it was. So they opened the box. There's a coffin. And out comes fucking Danhausen. I'm sure there's a bunch of people who don't know who Danhausen is. So I'll give you kind of like a quick kind of thing of what Danhausen is, who he is as a wrestler. He's not a wrestler. He very rarely wrestles. This is a gimmick character. He is the R-Truth of the indie scenes. Okay? He comes out, he does weird shit, and it's Danhausen. This is what Danhausen is. It's weird. It's sometimes funny. It's sometimes not. He wrestles very quick matches. He's not gonna be in a world title picture. He might not even be in a mid-title picture. He's just gonna be Danhausen. He's gonna show up every now and again. Great for Danhausen. He's been around for a long time. He's finally earned his right to be in WWE. He's been doing this gimmick for a long time. So good for him. He deserves it. Some WWE fans who are very casual and who don't watch the indies and don't watch other promotions are going to be very confused by who he is. For layman's terms, in wrestling WWE terms, he's basically R-Truth of WWE. So Danhausen in WWE, he's not gonna do anything crazy. I promise you. He's just gonna be Danhausen. He's gonna be there for funny moments, comedic moments. He's gonna do weird stuff. He's gonna say weird things. That's just his gimmick. That's all I like. If you were I wasn't expecting Danhausen. I was expecting either Chris Jericho or somebody else, or maybe you know, I don't know. Danhausen was the farthest thing from my mind. I guess it made sense the way it was promoted and the way it was delivered. It was fun. That's what Danhausen is. That's the gimmick right there. You saw it on full display for the past 10 minutes. That was Danhausen. And then we did get to the main event, which was the men's chamber, which had Trick Williams, love Trick, LA Knight, yeah, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and then you had Javon Evans, who I thought had a great entrance, and Cody Rhodes starting the match. So let me see if I can remember this. It has been like 24 hours. Let's see if I can remember this. I'm pretty sure that Logan eliminated Trick, Javon, and LA Knight. I remember that. And then the Masked Man came out. Wasn't who we thought he was. It was a different Masked Man. Only to reveal the Masked Man coming out. Delivers the stomp to Logan. Takes off the mask. It's Seth Rollins. Oh my God, who would have guessed it? It was Seth Rollins, guys. Oh my God, what a big surprise. Seth Rollins came back, curb stomped Logan. Cody eliminated him. And then it was Randy and Cody. Drew came out, Claymored, or was going to try to Claymore Cody. Randy and Cody attacked Drew. And then Randy RKO'd Cody, and then Randy won the chamber. So, shout out to Randy for winning. Kind of a slight surprise. I thought Cody was going to win, but I think this sets it up really well with Randy winning. I think good for Randy, first of all, getting back to WrestleMania in the main event scene. That's awesome. We love Randy. Good for him. But I think you clearly see they're gonna go for the Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania between Drew, Cody, Randy, and Jacob Fatu. I think that's going to be the plan. But this is an easy way to get Randy into that match. Otherwise, it would have felt forced, and it would have felt like, why are we adding Randy to this card when he really hasn't been that involved that much? But this is like a good transition into getting him into that match, so that was really well done. And it forces Cody, obviously, to kind of now you're not keeping Cody out of WrestleMania. He's gonna go for the title. We all know this, so they're gonna find a way to get him involved. Jacob's kind of the odd one out. I want to see where they go with that story. I kind of have an idea, but I'm not confident in it. But we'll see what they do with that and how they get Jacob and Fatu involved. But I think overall this was a good way to kind of end, or open the story with now Cody, Drew, Randy, and Jacob, and get Randy into the match. Great ending. I think everyone was kind of happy with it. Cody losing was very, very good. I think it's more good than bad. It would have made sense for Cody to win, and I think that would have just been an easier way to do it. But now I think this complicates things even more and makes it feel more forced, and for Cody to kind of maybe do some heelish behavior to get involved into the match, which would be pretty cool. Maybe. I wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't hate it. But I think this was a good kind of start to this story and where they're going to go with it. And overall, I think it was a very good chamber. Javon was really good. Trick really impressed me. He did a great job in this chamber, I thought. He took a lot of hard bumps, did a lot of cool shit. Javon jumping off the top of the pod was great. Logan looked really good. Logan took a nasty bump going through the chamber door as well, so hope he's okay. He had a bad cut on his back, but he took a big bump. He looked really good. I thought, and then LA Knight's botch, that was kind of funny, but it's unfortunate what happened there. But I think overall, everyone did their job. They did their role. They did a really good job. I think the young guys performed well. The vets did what they needed to do. Cody and Randy did what they needed to do. And overall, it was a very fun match. It was a very fun chamber. I think the ending was the ending. It was fun. Randy winning was a surprise. Did I expect more from this card? Probably. Was it fine? Yeah, I think we've been saying that a lot. That a lot of these match cards and PLEs have just been fine. Having 4 matches, though, does kind of suck. With all the ads and all the promos and everything involved. I think you could easily fit in a fifth match, especially for the price that the tickets were and tickets are now. The fact that we aren't getting that kind of bang for our buck kind of deal is kind of ridiculous. Hopefully WrestleMania is obviously going to have a lot of matches, a lot of all titles are going to be on the line. They should be. Going to be a lot of fun for WrestleMania, but hopefully in the future, we're able to kind of get back to that kind of 5 to 6 match card schedule, so that fans kind of feel rewarded for going, and they kind of feel that kind of, not old school nostalgia feeling, but like they kind of feel like we're getting worth the price of admission for this. Because having 4 matches on a card and 2 being Elimination Chamber and 2 being, title matches is what it is, but it kind of feels short end, and it kind of feels like you're just meh. Like you just kind of there. So I do hope that kind of improves later on. They kind of go back to the 5 match, 6 match style. But overall, this card was fine. It was fun. It was what it was. Everything made sense. All the winners made sense. It was a fun card. It was a good watch. So hopefully going forward, in WrestleMania, we're 7 weeks away from WrestleMania now. We're coming up. There's nothing else. There's no other PLEs. There's no other events. We're going straight to WrestleMania. So we're gonna see what happens there. We're gonna preview all that. That's gonna take a long time. So we'll see what happens with WrestleMania. And yeah, that's kind of been the analysis breakdown of the Elimination Chamber for 2026. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Check out other videos. Make sure you put what you want to talk about in the comments. What you think's gonna happen at WrestleMania. What do you think of the card itself? Again, follow social media at the Get Back Sports. And I've been Daniel. This is the Get Back, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.